I was the Dean of the College of Urban Planning and Public Affairs at the University of Illinois at Chicago. There was a very famous plan for Chicago called the Burnham Plan in 1909. We were looking back at that old plan to develop a new vision 100 years on in 2009, building on the 1909 plan. Several things struck me about it. One was really the very active engagement in the city of the business sector in Chicago. I think that's more of an American approach, but it certainly works pretty well if you can pull these players into the process. And that's certainly the way it was operating when I was there. And Mayor Daley, who was the mayor of Chicago up until earlier this year, was very active in his work with the civic leadership in the business community. So that tradition that Burnham developed in 1909 goes on now in Chicago in the 21st century. Probably most relevant for the discussion just now is the work that I was involved with central government when it was considering whether to introduce directly elected mayors or not. This would be mainly from 1997 to early 2000s. So I was actively involved in the idea of having a Greater London Authority, in other words a strategic authority for the whole capital, one led by a directly elected mayor. This was a very controversial idea at the time and it was opposed by many, but I think it's been seen to be really quite a successful model for the capital. And some would claim, and I think there's some justification for this, that we would not have won the Olympics for 2012 if we'd not had a high-profile directly elected mayor and a sound organisational framework for the governance of the city. So maybe the directly elected mayor model can work for city regions in a way that wasn't really appreciated back in the 1990s. In recent times I've been quite fortunate to do work with city leaders in other countries, and perhaps one example that might be relevant for Bristol is Auckland in New Zealand. There the city council was reformed quite radically just last year by the New Zealand government, and I was one of the advisors on the new model. Basically they've moved to have a much stronger leadership model for the whole city region with a directly elected mayor. I think the key thing is you need to care about the place. We can talk about different governmental models, different institutional designs, different collaborative frameworks, strategies and so on. But the main message for good quality, effective leadership is passion. You need to care about the place, and if you do, you can make a big difference.